Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're digging into something that affects, well, a whole lot of organizations running older versions of Oracle e-business suite, EBS.
Mm.
It's more than just dealing with slightly dated software. There are real costs, serious risks, often kind of hitting beneath the surface.
Yeah, and for this deep dive, you've given us a great source. It's an ebook called The Hidden Cost of Running an Outdated Oracle EBS. And it really does lay out what's at stake if you're sticking with those older versions.
Absolutely. So our mission today is to pull out the key insights from this source, really get a handle on the risks organizations are up against, and look at the paths forward that the ebook suggests. It kicks off with a really critical date, doesn't it? A date that changed the game for a lot of companies. Premier support for Oracle EBS 12.1, that ended back in December 2021.
That date is absolutely central. And to really understand why it's such a big deal, the ebook first walks through Oracle's support lifecycle for EBS. It's basically got 3 levels.
Okay, right. Let's unpack that. So you've got Premier, Extended, and then Sustaining support. Premier sounds like, well, the top tier.
It is, yeah, it's the full package. With Premier support, you get everything. Access to new features, all the critical security patches, bug fixes, those vital regulatory and tax updates. They change all the time.
Right.
And, of course, direct technical support from Oracle itself. Now, this is the level that organizations on EBS 12.2 are currently getting. And the ebook really highlights that Premier support for 12.2 is good to go until at least 2036. So that's, a long runway.
Got it. A long time. So if Premier is the all-inclusive plan, what about extended support? What's that offer?
Extended is a step down,
Yeah.
and importantly, it costs extra. It gives you certain patches and updates, but it's selective. You're not getting that constant flow of new features or all the updates you'd get with Premier.
Okay. And then there's sustaining support. Honestly, just the name. It sounds like you're just sort of keeping the lights on, barely.
That's a pretty good way to put it, based on how the ebook describes it. Sustaining support is really the most limited. If you're on sustaining, you get no new updates. 0. No new certifications for running on newer tech stacks, newer operating systems, and crucially, no new patches. And this is exactly where organizations still running 12.1 or anything older have been since that December 2021 date.
Wow. So ending up on sustaining support isn't just like an inconvenience. The consequences, the ebook makes clear, are actually pretty severe.
They really are. The source is blunt about it. Without new patches, you've got no fixes for newly found security flaws or performance bugs. You miss out on critical updates for legal stuff, tax compliance, things that can change month to month. You can't call Oracle for help if something breaks. And your old version just gets more and more incompatible with the newer technology, the databases, the OSs you probably need for other parts of your business.
That really paints a picture of being, well, stuck, isolated and exposed. And the ebook digs right into the specific risks that come with being unsupported. These are the hidden costs it talks about, right?
Exactly. Let's walk through them because they really touch every corner of the business. First up, and maybe the scariest one, security vulnerabilities.
Yeah, that seems obvious. No patches means you're basically a sitting duck.
Precisely. The ebook really stresses this. Cyber threats don't stand still. They evolve constantly. Unsupported software. It's like leaving the front door wide open for malware, ransomware, you name it, unauthorized access, and the fallout from a breach. It's just devastating. We're talking huge damage to your reputation, potentially massive regulatory fines, and, grinding your whole business to a halt.
And that security risk ties straight into the next point the ebook raises: regulatory and compliance failures.
Absolutely, they go hand in hand.
Yeah.
Compliance isn't static, is it? Tax laws change, industry rules like CarPay or GDPR get updated, audit requirements like SOX evolve. If your EDS is unsupported, you're just not getting the updates needed to keep up. Simple as that, which, as the source points out, dramatically increases your risk of big penalties, fines, failed audits. It's serious.
Okay, so beyond the big headline risks like breaches and fines, the ebook talks about something maybe less dramatic, but always there: rising maintenance and operational costs.
Yeah, this is where the hidden part often bites. Older systems frequently run on aging hardware. That hardware is less reliable, it's more expensive to keep running. Plus, you've got processes stuck in manual mode that could be automated. And finding skilled IT folks who really know these old legacy systems, that's getting tougher and more expensive all the time.
Right.
These aren't just small costs. The ebook implies they're a constant drain, pulling resources away from, say, innovation.
Which naturally leads to a competitive disadvantage.
Right. Think about it. While you're struggling with manual workarounds, maybe unstable systems, high maintenance bills, your competitors who have upgraded, They're using new features, getting better performance, integrating more easily. They're faster, more efficient. They can make decisions based on better data, quicker. Being stuck, the source argues, means you're actively losing ground.
There's also the day-to-day worry about business continuity risks.
This is about the higher chance of system disruptions, because the software might be less stable or it doesn't play well with modern hardware or other software. So a higher risk of system failures means your core operations are just more fragile. That could lead to really costly downtime, lost sales, lost productivity.
And the final risk that eBook flags, maybe the biggest one for the long term, outdated EBS acts as a major barrier to digital transformation.
This is huge, strategically speaking. Your EBS is often the heart of your business operations. If it's old and inflexible, it becomes a massive bottleneck. It makes it incredibly hard, maybe impossible, to connect with the technologies driving change today. Things like AI, RPA, advanced analytics, cloud services. It basically stops you from innovating and building the modern IT setup you need for the future. And the ebook really drives this home with that real-world example, doesn't it? The 2017 data analytics company breach. Yeah, that's a powerful illustration. It wasn't EBS specifically, but the lesson is universal for enterprise software. 147 million people's data exposed. And the core reason the source brings it up: failure to apply a known patch. A fix was available, but it wasn't applied.
Wow.
It resulted in enormous fines, settlements, reputational damage. It's just a stark warning, the ebook implies, that running any critical software, including outdated EBS, without timely security updates, carries exactly these kinds of massive real-world risks.
Okay, so the picture is clear. Staying on something like 12.1 carries this long, serious list of risks and costs. But the ebook does shift gears, right? It shows what you gain by moving forward, specifically looking at upgrading to Oracle EBS R12.2. It's positioned not just as a fix, but as a pretty significant step up.
It really is. The ebook highlights some fundamental changes in R12.2 that tackle many of the problems with older versions head-on. One of the biggest: online patching, or ADOP.
Online patching, okay, that sounds important. How does that actually work? Less downtime.
That's exactly how the ebook presents it. A
Right.
game changer. It lets you apply most system updates while the system's still running. Minimal downtime. Think about the old way. Patching often meant days of planned outages, right? Huge disruption.
Oh, yeah. Weekend work, late nights.
Exactly. Online patching drastically cuts that down. It makes it actually feasible to keep your system up to date without stopping the business.
And R12.2 also brought in this continuous innovation model. What's that about?
Yes, another key difference the source points out. Once you're on the R12.2.x track, Oracle delivers ongoing improvements, new functions, technical updates, without needing another massive version upgrade later. It means you can keep getting the benefit of Oracle's R&D, stay current much more easily than you could on, say, 11i or 12.1.
Okay, makes sense. And beyond the sort of under-the-hood stuff, there's a better user experience too, a modernized user interface.
Absolutely. The ebook mentions the improved look and feel, better options for personalization, much better mobile access in R12.2. And that's not just window dressing. It helps with user adoption, getting people to actually use the system effectively. It makes them more productive and, frankly, probably happier compared to those older interfaces.
And really importantly these days, improved integration capabilities.
Crucial, absolutely crucial for how IT works now.
Right.
R12.2 was designed with better connectivity in mind. It offers stronger links to cloud apps, better APIs, deeper integration with Oracle's own cloud software, their SaaS products. The ebook points this out as vital groundwork if you're thinking about a hybrid setup, or maybe even moving fully to the cloud eventually.
Plus just basic performance improvements, things run better.
Yep, faster processing, more stability, better scalability. For businesses with, lots of transactions or complex processes, the ebook notes that R12.2 is just a more solid, reliable platform.
And what about automation capabilities? Does R12.2 help there?
It does. It supports better process automation through things like workflow engines. It integrates better with RPA tools, robotic process automation, and has adaptive intelligence features. The ebook suggests these things directly help cut down on manual work and make operations more efficient.
So it sounds like all these improvements, technical, functional, they add up to making R12.2 much more cloud ready.
That's a really strong theme in the source material. The way R12.2 is built, its architecture, its flexibility, it's specifically designed to make it a smoother path if or when you decide to move EBS or parts of it to the cloud. It positions R12.2 almost like a launch pad, a strategic starting point for future cloud moves.
And finally, circling back to those security worries we started with, R12.2 brings improved user security and role-based access controls.
Correct. The ebook goes into the enhanced role-based access, stronger ways to authenticate users. This is fundamental, right?
Okay.
Controlling who can see and do what. It helps reduce the risk of unauthorized access internally and meet those modern security and compliance standards.
Okay, so upgrading to R12.2 clearly solves that immediate support cliff problem and brings a lot of modern benefits. But the ebook acknowledges there's this bigger strategic question for many organizations. Do we upgrade versus cloud migration? It's not always a straightforward choice.
Exactly. The source frames this as a key decision point. And the right answer really depends on your specific situation as a business, doesn't it? Your tolerance for change, your long-term goals.
The strategic perspective the ebook offers here is quite interesting. It suggests that, look, if your current EBS is heavily customized, really deeply woven into your operations, maybe upgrading to R12.2 on-premise is the way to get stability with the least amount of immediate upheaval.
That's definitely one path. The alternative the ebook discusses is, well, if your long-term strategy is really about agility, scaling up or down easily, really leveraging modern digital platforms, then maybe planning a phased move to Oracle Fusion Cloud is the more strategic, though definitely more transformative, direction.
The ebook lays out a comparison, which is pretty helpful. It's almost like a decision guide showing the differences between, say, upgrading to R12.2 and keeping it on-prem versus doing a lift and shift of R12.2 onto Oracle Cloud Infrastructure, OCI, versus going all in on Oracle Fusion Cloud.
Yeah, that comparison is key. It highlights the trade-offs clearly.
Yeah.
On-prem, you manage everything below the application layer, servers, storage, networking. Move to OCI. Oracle handles the infrastructure, but you still manage the EBS application itself, the patching, the tuning. Well, I agree to Fusion Cloud. That's the biggest shift. Oracle manages everything, infrastructure, the application software, security, updates. It's a true SaaS model.
And with Fusion Cloud, you're likely reevaluating all those customizations you might have built over years, whereas R12.2, whether on-prem or OCI, lets you bring those along more easily.
Exactly. And the whole user experience, the support model, completely different. Fusion Cloud is a modern interface, continuous updates managed by Oracle. R12.2, even on OCI, is still fundamentally the EBS interface, though modernized. And you're still responsible for applying application patches and doing that maintenance.
But here's what I found really interesting. The perspective the ebook seems to push. It's that upgrading to R12.2 isn't just, the last stop for on-premise EBS. It's framed as a deliberate strategic move that actually opens the door to the cloud rather than shutting it.
Yes, it strongly positions R12.2 as a crucial stepping stone. By getting onto R12.2, you're on a supported platform first and foremost. You get the benefits of its modern architecture. And crucially, you're in a much better technical spot to then plan and execute a future migration to Oracle Cloud applications if that becomes your goal down the road.
So, okay, let's say an organization does the analysis and decides, right, the R12.2 upgrade is the right move for us now. The ebook doesn't just leave you there. It actually outlines a practical Oracle EBS upgrade action plan.
Yeah, it breaks it down to logical steps. Step 1, build a business case. Quantify the risks of not upgrading. Put numbers on those potential penalties, the cost of downtime, the higher TCO, the opportunities you're missing. Make those abstract risks tangible.
Then step 2, perform a readiness assessment. This sounds really critical.
Oh, absolutely. This is where you really get under the hood of your specific EBS setup. You analyze what the ebook calls your similize. That's configurations, extensions, modifications, localizations, and integrations. This deep dive tells you how complex your environment is, especially those custom bigs you've added, and helps scope out the actual upgrade work.
Makes sense. Step 3 is train and enable users. You can't just flick a switch.
No, definitely not. Essential for getting people comfortable and actually using the new features, the improved UI effectively. The ebook talks about needing proper training, updated guides, good change management.
And you probably need help. Choose the right implementation partner.
The source really emphasizes this. An EBS upgrade, especially if it's complex, is generally not a do-it-yourself job. It stresses finding a partner with proven Oracle expertise, a SIAD upgrade method, and importantly, specific R12.2 experience. The ebook even gives examples of what value a good partner might bring, like maybe they have pre-built tools or accelerators, or they've built custom solutions on Oracle tech that integrate well.
Right. It mentioned things like a vendor management portal built with Oracle Apex, or an AI-driven accounts payable system that slashed invoice processing time by integrating with EBS.
Exactly. These aren't just random examples. They show the kind of capability and ecosystem knowledge a strong partner offers. It suggests they can not only manage the upgrade itself, but also help you get more value after you go live.
Okay, and the last couple of steps in the plan. create a phased execution plan, and then post-upgrade optimization.
Yeah, doing it in phases helps manage risk, avoids a big bang disruption, and the ebook makes a good point that reaching R12.2 isn't the finish line. Post-upgrade optimization means ongoing support, maintenance, maybe further development to really maximize the benefits of the new platform.
Wow. Okay, so this deep dive into the ebook has really laid out the landscape pretty starkly. Staying on old Oracle EBS versions like 12.1 isn't just about managing old tech. It's actively courting some major risks: security, compliance, costs, competitiveness, and just blocking your own future innovation.
And importantly, the source shows there are clear ways forward. Upgrading to R12.2 looks like a vital step. It gives you modern tools, that long support runway we talked about, and it positions you strategically for whatever comes next. Or there's the more transformative, longer-term option of moving towards Oracle Fusion Cloud.
This really helps clarify the stakes, doesn't it? And the potential paths forward, all based directly on the information you provided in that ebook. It certainly paints a picture where just staying put isn't really a sustainable option for most.
It definitely doesn't seem like it is. And, it leaves you with a really interesting strategic question to mull over based on how the ebook frames things.
Mm.
Given that R12.2 is presented as enabling cloud transitions later, and Fusion Cloud is highlighted as that modern SaaS destination, does the source imply that the R12.2 upgrade is, for many, sort of a necessary pit stop on an unavoidable journey to the cloud? Or is R12.2 genuinely a viable long-term destination in its own right for some organizations?
Something to definitely think about as you map out your own strategy.